What's going on, crew? We're back with my dogs here at Westpac Training Center. Here to answer more questions for you guys. We got a lot of untouched questions that you guys have already filtered in. Make sure you like and subscribe and keep more questions coming so we can make sure we answer them. Crew out.
Okay, Mark, good to see you.
Good to be here.
So, first question from one of our subscribers is, how do I straighten my footwork?
The easiest way to think about that, you don't want it to be too straight. It's a little bit of drift's not bad, but especially if you're right-handed, let's say you take 4 steps. That first step and that third step should go directly under your head for balance, and you always want to try to slide on the same board as your pivot step. If you do that, your footwork will you want to be in balance. If you watch the pros, their head and their feet tend to stay on top of each other. Chris Prather, Jason Bomani, perfect examples, Bill O'Neill. Every step, their head stays on top of their feet, so they start in balance and they maintain balance. That's why they post so many shots. Most amateurs, after their first 2 steps, their head's way behind their second step, or if they take 5, their head's way in front of their second step. So basically, they put themselves out of balance, considering how you walk, how your body functions, more important than how they're throwing a ball. If you make them work together. How my body functions when I walk, I stay in balance. So if you're out of balance in the first 2 and you try to rebalance yourself in the slide, that's why it's so hard to be consistent and post. Where pros tend to stay in balance every step. Kyle Troop does a great job of it.
And when you say post, can you clarify for the amateurs that may not know what that term means?
So post means when the ball comes off your hand, you're able to stay on your slide leg for quite a ways down there. Now they teach you should be on your left leg and post all the way through the pins. I don't believe in that. There's 2 things you can do. There's posting and there's falling off. All right, Pistol, stay with me. So first we're going to look at posting. Remember this. You want to be able to, this part of your arm tells the ball where to go. This tells it how much to hook. So if you throw the ball, it clears the arrows and it's going by the arrows and you do this, you're fine. That's called stepping off. But as you go to throw the ball and while you're following through, you step off. That's called falling off. That's not good because your forearm didn't tell the ball where to go. So if posting is a little tricky for you with the ball going all the way through the pins, make sure you get your fall through, it clears the arrows, and then you stepped right to admire the strike you just threw because you used the Baker box.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Falling off, stepping off, 2 different things.
I just learned something there. I know when I fall off for sure. My first step is with the foot where the ball is. Is that correct? I feel if I start with the opposite foot, I have too many steps and feel out of sync.
Sure, so it sounds like you take 4 steps. If you start, if you're right-handed and your first step is on the side of the ball, your first step, you're taking an even amount of steps is what you're saying. Nobody takes 2, so you're taking 4 or possibly 6. Most likely 4. Sure, I have no affinity for either 4, 5, 6, 7. I could care less how many steps you take. There are plenty of pros. Parker Bowman, 4 steps. David Ozio took 4. At times, Brian Voss took 4. You're in really, really good company. A lot of bowlers take 5. It's more of a feel thing. So it doesn't matter to me how many steps you take, and 4 steps is fine.
So being on balance is the most important regardless.
100%. Whatever feels the easiest for you to repeat, stay with that number.
Absolutely. Next question. Mark, when you watch a new bowler throw for the first time, what is the most cringe-worthy thing / biggest mistake that you typically see people do?
I guess I don't see it that way. I've seen myself golf, and it's pretty ugly. My first couple swings are like, you shouldn't even be allowed on the golf course. So because of that, I don't see it that way. My entire job is to find something you're doing right. Even if you've never bowled, it's your first time. Maybe it's just the way you put the ball in your hand. Maybe it's your stance. Maybe you've got unbelievably great footwork because I have people that were, I have a lot of ladies that were dancers. People that were
great footwork.
Yeah, they just have great footwork. So my job is to find the one thing you do really, really well, and I build from there. So I never really ever cringe when anybody bowls. I mean, we all started in the same place. Some of us just got better quicker than others, but we all start in the same place.
So basically, you don't judge a book by its cover right off the bat.
Well, you're trying hard.
Yeah.
Why would it doesn't benefit me to cringe when you start, because if you see me cringe, if you turn around, you're probably not coming back for a lesson. And that's not how I run my business. So as long as you give me 100% effort, I'm always in, so we'll figure it out.
Understood. Next question. Does your book explain the Baker box?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
The Baker box was something I came up with right before COVID. I worked on it when COVID shut us down for a while, but that is something I worked on then. It's about a 4 to 5 year process for me to really get it dialed in the way I liked it before we started using it. I started promoting it. So no, the book has nothing about the Baker box.
I'm new to bowling and I have a weaker wrist, and they start hurting after a while. Any tips to strengthen my wrist and practice releases?
See, in a situation like that, when it comes to wrist braces, I've always been Switzerland. I'm not for, I'm not against, I'm very, very neutral. I've seen some of the best bowlers in the world use wrist braces effectively. So if it's starting to hurt, you may want to try a wrist brace just because you may have broken your wrist when you were a kid and it hurts after 3 or 4 games. A wrist brace may take away some of the pain. So if that helps, you're in good company.
Understood. Next question. Are there any limitations to having a wrist?
Well, like a guy like me like to bend the wrist back in your stance. You can't really bend your wrist back. I was pretty free with my wrist. A lot of pros like Barnes would have a hard time with a wrist brace. Chris tends to move his wrist around a lot for feel. That would be the only restriction.
Understood. Does the height of your backswing make a difference in how you bowl in regards to speed, power, or revs? Or does it matter how high your backswing is? I'm thinking about increasing my backswing a little higher than what it is now to help increase these things.
I've never been a big proponent in trying to make your backswing higher. I'm 6'4", 6'3.5". You're tall. We have long levers. Our arms are, my wingspan is as big as my height.
Yeah.
So when I get the ball to the top of my swing, it seems higher. That helps with ball speed, definitely helps with power. So a lot of it's determined by the limitations of how long your arms are. I've never really tried to get anybody's swing higher. Two-handers, I try to get their swings later because both hands are attached to the ball. But very rarely if I try to do that, I'm more about what does your timing look like. If you get your lower body in there and you're in pretty good time and your balance is good, accuracy and power will come with that.
Okay. Great coaching. Are you ever in the Virginia Beach area? Do you host travel camps?
No, I don't. I'm a Southern California boy. Been living here all my life. I live in Orange County. If I was going to leave, I'd have left by now, I think. But this is my home base. My family lives here. My son's in a good school. So I did travel quite a bit with Chris Barnes. We did clinics all over the world. Travel after COVID became less fun. Travel has become stressful. Travel has become expensive. I'd rather stay home with my regulars, do my camps. So the travel has become less. Hopefully, Chris decides that sooner or later he doesn't want to bowl and we get back to doing some Baker Barnes clinics. He'll be in charge of setting them all up. So send all the emails to Chris Barnes. We would like to have a clinic. You're welcome, buddy.
Maybe we can help you with a tour one day. Who knows? Next question. And this is going to be our last one. How can we get under the ball more with our thumb in the ball? More elbow bend?
That's really, really tricky. Here's how I'll describe that. People tend to start there. I have a lot of people walk in this door, they average less than 140, and they think if they don't have the yo-yo release like EJ Tackett, they're never going to get better.
Yeah.
Here's how I see it. Bowling is, to me, every bowler I coach is a jigsaw puzzle. And jigsaw puzzles are built with the borders. I tend to think the release is the last piece of a puzzle. So the last piece always goes in easy. My job as a coach, when they come through the door, for one thing, I want to be more consistent. If I'm more consistent, I knock down more pins. So the top of my borders is consistency, timing, balance, and accuracy. I build it all in from there, and once I do that, I can tend to fix pretty much all the releases. When you try to fix your release first and you let those suffer, you don't have any consistency. You may have a great release, but releases are only cool if they're accurate at 45 feet. The reason why we like watching the pros is because they're so accurate, then their release magnifies their accuracy. Remember, a bowling lane's built a very specific way. It's 60 feet long. The first 45 feet of the lane is all about accuracy. The last 15 feet is all about the shape, the power, the rotation. If you don't master the first 45, it doesn't matter what your release looks like because it won't hit the pocket.
Great answer. Appreciate you answering the questions today.
Always a blast. Cleanup crew people out there, very nice when you all come up, say hi to me at the bowling center. You're watching this. As a 63-year-old guy who's not a YouTube guy, it's pretty amazing how powerful this is. You guys have great questions. It's always nice when you come up. I just love all your enthusiasm. I'll talk to you soon.
Make sure you keep liking and subscribing to the videos. We're going to have more of Mark for you, and he's going to be answering more questions.
Yeah, as long as you keep sending in the questions, we'll just make this a segment. We get 20 questions. Questions with the coach. We'll answer them up, get you guys back on the lanes.